Today we are going to talk about mixture problems. Think about Halloween. A lot of times you buy a combination bag, something that would have, let's say, Milky Way and Three Musketeers. The companies don't sit there and say, okay, this is exactly how much all the Three Musketeers cost, and this is how much the Milky Ways cost, and add the prices together. They come up with a price that's somewhere in between. These are the types of problems we're going to be going over today. Our unit price, or our dollars per pound, will be going in the left-hand column. Then we have our amount in weight. So this will be the number of pounds of something that we're going to have. Just like the problems from yesterday, we're going to multiply the two columns together to set it equal to the total. So let's read the problem. How much coffee that costs $3 per pound should be mixed with 5 pounds of coffee at $3.50 per pound to make a mixture worth $3.25 per pound? So the first thing we need to ask ourselves are what type of items we have. And we have two types of coffee. So we're going to label coffee 1 and coffee number 2. If we go back to the problem, it says coffee that costs $3 per pound. That's a unit rate. So we're going to put the 3 next to coffee 1. Then it says it should be mixed with 5 pounds of coffee at $3.50 per pound. That's going to be our unit rate for coffee 2. Then to make a mixture worth $3.25 per pound. Mixture is always going to be on the bottom. If we go back and reread the problem, it says that we have 5 pounds of $3.50 coffee. So if we go to the middle, we're going to put a 5. We don't know how much coffee 1 there's going to be. Think about it. If we have to put coffee 1 into a basket with coffee 2, the act of putting in is addition. So we're going to add x plus 5 on the bottom. 3 multiplied by x gives us 3x. $3.50 times 5 will be our answer in the middle. And then we've got $3.25, and then times the quantity, x plus 5. It's very important to make sure you multiply the $3.25 by both the x and the 5 as this quantity goes together. To set up our equation, we will do total item 1 plus total item 2. Those are these two boxes. So we have 3x plus 350 multiplied by 5, and we're going to set it equal to the total mixture. So we're going to set it equal to 325 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 5. Using your calculator, you can multiply $3.50 multiplied by 5. That's going to give you 17.5. When we distribute the 325, we will get 325x, and then 325 multiplied by 5 gives us 16.25. Now we need to move the variables to the left. If we subtract 325x from both sides, we're going to end up with a negative x. But don't worry, chances are the negatives are going to cancel out. So we have negative 0.25x plus 17.5 equals $16.25. To undo addition, we need to subtract. So we're going to subtract 17.5 from both sides. If you want to, you can put a 0 as a placeholder so everything lines up cleanly. Negative 0.25x is going to equal negative 1.25. What happens when you divide a negative by a negative? It becomes a positive. X ends up equaling 5. If you look back at your chart, 5 is the amount of pounds you need for coffee 1. So that means that you need 5 pounds of $3 coffee. Let's try another one. Peanut brittle worth $1.05 per pound was mixed with peppermint patties worth $1.35 per pound. How many pounds of each kind of candy were used to make 30 pounds of the mixture worth $1.15 per pound? The first thing you want to ask yourself are what types of items do we have? In this case, we have peanut brittle, and we have peppermint patties. So we're going to write those labels along the left-hand side. It is okay to abbreviate those if you would like. Rereading the problem, it tells you that peanut brittle is worth $1.05 per pound. So we will come to the chart and put $1.05. Then it says peppermint patties are worth $1.35. If you look at the question, it tells you that the mixture is now worth $1.15 per pound. Rereading the problem again, it says how many pounds of each kind of candy do we need to make 30 pounds of mixture? So the 30 pounds need to go with the mixture. The problem is we don't know either one of the peanut brittle or the peppermint patties, so we can choose where we put our X. Let's say we put our X on top. If there are 30 pounds of candy altogether and we take away X, the leftover is the peppermint patties. Take away is minus, so we will be putting 30 minus X in the middle. Just like the other problem, we're going to multiply across. So we have $1.05 times X, we have $1.35 multiplied by 30 minus X, be careful with the parentheses, and then we have $1.15 multiplied by 30. For our equation, we're going to take our top two totals and we're going to add it together to equal the bottom one. So we will have 1.05x plus 1.35 multiplied by 30 minus x, and we'll set an equal total for 115 multiplied by 30. At this point, you're going to want to make sure you use your calculator. We have 1.05x. When we multiply the 1.35 multiplied by the 30, we're going to get 40.5. 1.35 times a negative x is going to be a negative 1.35x. 1.15 multiplied by 30 will give us 34.5. Personally, I like to combine the like terms first and put them right next to each other. The like term to 1.05x is negative 1.35x. And then since 40.5 does not have a like term on this side of the equation, I'm going to put it at the end. When you subtract those numbers, we're going to get negative 0.3x plus 40.5 equals 34.5. To isolate the variable now, we need to subtract 40.5 from both sides. And again, we're going to end up with a negative, but the two negatives will cancel out at the end. 34.5 minus 40.5 gives us negative 6. And then we need to divide by negative 0.3. When we do that, we will get x equals 20. But what is the 20? If we look back at the chart, 20 is the number of pounds for peanut brittle, which means we need 20 pounds of peanut brittle, but how do we figure out how many peppermint patties we need? Again, if we look back at the chart, we can plug in the 20 under peppermint patties. So 30 minus 20 gives us how much? That's right, it equals 10. So we need 10 pounds of peppermint patties. Last example, example number 3. You may want to try and fill out the chart yourself. So I'm going to pause for a second so that you can hit pause and see what you get. Two types of coffee are blended together to produce 25 pounds of mixture. So we're going to plug in the 25 pounds on the bottom. It tells you that the mixture is worth $3.75 per pound. So we're going to put the $3.75 down in the mixture. One of the coffees is $3.25 and the other is worth $4.75. Then it asks you how much of each type of coffee was used in the mixture. Again, the placement of the X does not matter. You'll just be solving for one type of coffee first instead of the other. Let's say we put the X on top. What goes in the middle? That's right, it's going to be 25 minus X. If we multiply across, we'll get 3.25x. and then 4.75x multiplied by the whole quantity, 25 minus x. Then we will multiply 375 multiplied by 25. We're going to add our two items together and set it equal to the bottom. We have 3.25x plus 4.75 multiplied by our quantity 25 minus x equals 3.75 multiplied by 25. Distributing, if we multiply 4.75 multiplied by 25, this is going to give us 118.75 plus a negative 4.75x. When we multiply $3.70 by 25, we're going to get 93.75. Again, I would rewrite the problem so that the like terms are together. The like term to 3.25 is our negative 4.75 because they both have x's. We will add the 118.75 at the end. Combining those like terms, we will get negative 1.5x plus 118.75 to equal 93.75. To isolate the variable, we will undo the addition by subtraction on both sides of our equation. Negative 1.5x will equal negative 25. If we divide both sides by negative 1.5, we will get a run-on decimal. Let's just round to the tenths. If we round to the tenths, we're going to get 16.7. Remember, this is a rounded answer. So what is 16.7? 16.7 is the number of pounds you need of the $3.25 coffee. Because of how you labeled it, it is okay for you to put coffee 1 and 16.7 pounds. How do we go back to get coffee 2? If you look back in the chart, we'll take 25 and subtract 16.7. If we do that, we're going to get 8.3, which means for coffee 2, we need 8.3 pounds of coffee 2. Good luck with the homework.